Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the Daily Market Insight for Friday, the 28th of April. All right, now coming back to the start of the week and where we are now. Now, I drew these trend channels at the start of the week. You can actually, as you can see, things are largely unchanged. They've just sort of been moving around in the same sort of trend, but just sort of drifting in ranges. Now, dollar yen's probably the only one that's sort of drifted out of that. But we are seeing some trades line up where there's got huge potential, right? There's and this is where next week's trading opportunities come into play. So when you look at the market, think of this: the last week of the month, there's usually not much going on. Potentially, right? Next month, maybe some range trades might be the order of the day. So just looking at that, and if you have a look at the global markets as well, equities have bounced. Okay, some strong earnings. Give it a little bit of a boost, but this is short term, right? The main event is next week's Fed interest rate meeting. We had some really wild price action here on Bitcoin, down from 30,000 to 27 almost, then back up to 29.5. I mean, that's anyone's guess, but there's some weird things happening there. Gold pretty much stalled, drifting sideways, and oil continues to drift lower. So that's where we are, right? So what I'm trying to show you is, if you were looking at the screens all week, sitting there, staring there, you're making hard work of it because nothing was really going to happen unless there was some extraordinary events. So what does it leave for us today? Well, it's really focusing on next week's data, right? And if I come back across here just to have a look, flick through what's coming out today, there's a bunch of Japanese numbers coming out. Now, very rarely do the Japanese numbers influence the markets, but you know what? We've got unemployment, CPI, industrial production or industrial output. So maybe there's something there, but I can't see dollar yen kicking around on its own. The PPI numbers in Australia are a non-event. Private sector credit, this is something that may be important for the RBA next week. If that credit is really decreasing, right, that's going to put pressure on the housing market alone. And that could see, you know, with the weaker CPI numbers, maybe work towards the RBA staying on hold. But once again, stronger numbers there. It goes towards a potential hike next week. So then you come into the Swiss numbers, the coffee indicator, that's something worth looking at. And German unemployment figures. Okay, maybe have a trickle. The euro looks like it's primed to go down, but just hasn't got the energy to get there. GDP numbers, I'm not really worried about that. The main event for today's trading as you come into the North American session will be the personal consumption numbers and the PCE Price Index numbers, right? This is the last major releases before we have the Fed next Wednesday. So you need significantly weaker numbers here to sort of turn the market around somewhat with what the Fed has been factored in 0.25%. If the numbers come out as expected or a little bit stronger, well then obviously the Fed will be raising rates. So there's the off chance these numbers could create some noise in the market. Significantly weak numbers, they should do it. Or I tell you what, if we get really strong numbers, then you're going to see the dollar probably rally as well. So that's where the action's at. There's not much more to do. Have a look at your charts. If you want to incorporate these trend channels, it can really show you what's going on. So, you know what? If you looked at it Monday and came back today, you wouldn't think anything had changed. Okay, we are a bit further down the track, but hardly any movement. And that's what you get in the last week of the month. Right, next week, we've got 3 central banks. We've got loads of big data, non-farm payrolls, etc. It's going to be huge, almost too huge. You wish some of those things were spread out over a couple of weeks, but that's where we are. If you're trading, well, just keep an eye on what's going on. The trend is your friend, and I can't see too much before the PCE Price Index numbers coming out. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.